Alright, well in the last video I found out that this jet ski of mine that is seized up has 92 something hours in it. So that's awesome. That's, you know, pretty low hours, I think. So I'm gonna go about rebuilding this, getting this engine running and getting things figured out. So basically, like most of my other projects, I end up taking apart just damn near the whole thing and, you know, really scoping it all out and learning what I can as I go. So I'm gonna do that again with this jet ski as well. Now that I've gotten the hours off of the actual head unit, I don't need any more electrics or anything, so I'm gonna get the battery pulled out of this thing for safety's sake and start getting this thing torn down. Alright, so after a bunch of struggling, I got this peeled off of here and slid back. And then I also got this hose clamp and this hose clamp undone. Alright, so this pipe is out and the tail section, I guess, is still draining into the bilge. That's not really a problem. I kind of figured there was water in here, so I did not let it freeze. I actually had my freezeometer sitting on the top of the seat of this jet ski all winter, and I've been watching it and it never did freeze, so I kept my heater on, so we should be okay. I'm gonna let the plug out and hopefully get most of this water drained out of here. We don't want a sloppy mess, and keep going. Alright, well I got the water drained out of this thing. It wasn't coming out of either of those ports on the back of the hull, so I don't know if something's clogged or what was happening, so I just sucked most of it out with a little pump. So it's pretty well drained out at this point. Alright, so I kind of had this cylinder head exposed. I really want to get the rest of this pipe off so I can, you know, take the head off and everything. But it looks like if I finagle this little piece out right here just right and get these hoses off the top, that I probably could take the cylinder head off the top. Okay, so this little brace right here, actually once you undo these two bolts, it actually like rotates back around. That's kind of a cool little idea there. So I'm gonna leave this pipe on here for just a second and see if I can get the head off right now. Alright, so behind here, like coming in this direction from the hull face towards the motor, is 8 bolts, and I got all those out. So now this guy is just wiggling here, so I'm going to try and get him out of here. And there's 2 hoses on the back that you gotta get undone too. Alright, so now you can get a good look at the carnage. There's one of the cylinders, pretty tore up. And then there's some marks on the side here where there's like some rust pitting. So, not ideal, but we'll get that fixed up. This other piston, I don't know, looks kind of okay. I don't have any reason to suspect otherwise. Looks like it's standard size, so that's good. Means it's not 10 over or however many thousandths over sized, so it's not on its last life anyway. if you take a look at this pipe, this would be the exhaust port. You can see that's the forward cylinder, the one that's hurt. Had a bunch of chunks, and then here's the other one. Looks, I don't know, kind of normalish. And then here's the head face. Obviously this one on the left is the forward piston. The other one looks okay. Looks like it's probably never been hurt before, but this one definitely had something chewing around in there. We'll find hopefully what that is and figure out how to get this thing fixed. All right, so I'm this close now. I think for me, I really do want to get this engine out of here. So I'm probably going to take this air box off, and then the power valve control cables right here, I'm going to take those both off. And you know, there'll be miscellaneous throttle and things to take loose, but generally it should come out pretty easy now. I just want to have this working on a bench rather than bent over into the hull of this thing. To get the engine out, the next thing I want to do here is grab these fuel lines, the two green lines there that go up. Those need to be disconnected right there at those little Y's is where I'm going to disconnect them. And then also a couple of the choke and the throttle, both of these cables need to be undone to get this thing out of here. Those two fuel lines and the choke and throttle are undone. Now the next thing I want to do is get down to the starter over here. And I gotta remove both of the wires from it. All right, so here's the starter right here. It's underneath the power valves. And basically here's the ground. It bolts up to the side. And then here's the positive. There's a little stud there, but that stud in this whole thing looked kind of wore out, like it got hot or something. I'm not really sure what happened there, but not ideal. I'm gonna have to fix that. But anyway, those are undone. Next, I'm going to grab this PTO shroud and get that out of here. You just take these little plugs, push them over, and remove that 10mm bolt. Alright, so with that cover out of the way, I think pretty much the only thing left is this set of wiring right here. Pretty clearly somebody cut that one time before, so I'm assuming this was out already. And then also that section of wires comes over and gets up into this distribution box. So I'm gonna try and open that. Hopefully there's like a little quick connect in there and I don't have to do any of this butchery, but we'll just see what happens here. So that's how that works. This little rubber piece goes through the little side right here, and then you know there's 100 little connections in here that get made. Pretty simple to put back. It's just color to color, and all the blacks are grounds. So hopefully this all fits in here. That'll be the thing, whether I can get all the wires fitting in there again. But now I think we're ready for motor mounts. As far as the motor mounts go, we're looking at these bolts right here. I'm gonna leave the actual mounts in there. I'm just gonna take this one out because I don't really want to be having to go into the hull that way. Also, you'll notice there are shims underneath here, so we're gonna want to preserve those and make sure we keep that all sorted and don't disturb anything. So 4, 1 on each corner. All right, no funny business with these motor mounts, these little shims. It looks like every corner has a thick one and a thin one. They're all the same. I did keep them separate just for fun, but ultimately it looks like these were set up all the same. And with the motor mounts now unbolted, I'm gonna slide the engine forward off of this coupler right here. I'm gonna slide it forward and then hopefully get the cherry picker on it and get it up out of here. Alright, so I got my little chain here, and I just hooked around one of the actual pistons. This one's broke off, remember? But over here I just shoved that in there, and it's loose, so let's get this thing out of here.